Hello everybody and welcome to day number 3 of the Custom Mail-In Tournament Drag Race Edition. Here's the first round, which has T.O. Sawyer, Demon Preacher, Matt McNear, and AutoZone. AutoZone was a standout in the previous tournament, and it looks already like they're going to be a standout in this tournament as they take an early lead and the first victory. Let's see what kind of time they finished with. There was a 3.17. For those tuning in for the first time, our fastest time so far is actually held by two people, Dusty Miles and Flip, respectively, who both finished at one point with a 3.03. That is very difficult to do, and if somebody can break 3 seconds, I will be impressed. But for now, AutoZone takes the first win in this group. Will he be able to continue the streak of every racer so far who has won a race not losing one? It looks like he will, because both times, as he grabs the second win, he has won by a decent amount. A lot of these other races, it is a close call, but AutoZone makes it clear that he is the clear winner. Every single person in this tournament so far who has won a race has not lost one. Every single person up to this point that has won is an undefeated racer. And AutoZone is easily looking to join that category, that ever-expanding list. And here he goes into the third race. He gets an early start, and once he gets it, he does not lose. Sometimes in a drag race, especially, if you start off strong, no one will be able to catch you. A beautiful performance for sure by AutoZone, and now, because he has 3 consecutive wins, he is already going to advance. Now he just wants to join that ever-expanding list of undefeated racers. And considering how much faster he is compared to the other 3, it looks like that is going to be the case. But we've seen bigger surprises before. As the race begins, he already is a car's length ahead by the time they get to the bottom of the slope. And he gets that 4th win, joining the undefeated racer group. And he's been finishing within the 3.10s most of the time, which is still pretty solid. But in a drag race like this, where people have been finishing at least 1/10 of a second faster than that, I wouldn't let your guard down just yet. But AutoZone will be advancing. Here's the next group. And we have Crazy Camel, Flurry Heart, Leo, and Rebel Racer. Crazy Camel is definitely a standout because we usually see dogs or something in these races, but definitely not camels. Unfortunately, they do finish in 4th, and our winner almost actually tied for the fastest time. They finished with a 3.04. Remember, the fastest, the fastest time so far is a 3.03. They were just barely off, but they will get that first win, Rebel Racer did. So now it is them who's looking to keep the streak alive. Here we go into race number 2. They are followed at least closely behind 2 of those other racers, but Rebel is a clear-cut winner, just like AutoZone was. And they are finishing a little bit quicker than AutoZone was. Not by much, but especially in drag races, those small margins can make a big difference. And he felt so good about crossing the finish line first that he almost went back and crossed it again. And now Rebel Racer is just 1 race away from advancing. Flurry Heart and Leo are trying to disrupt that. Crazy Camel's having a little bit of difficulty doing so. Flurry Heart finishes in 3rd. Rebel Racer gets that win. And he is finishing under 3.1 pretty much the entire time. Not quite able to get the fastest time though, but he was awfully close. Yeah, look, that's everyone finishing within about 1/2 a second of each other. But considering how short these tracks are, that's a huge problem for the ones that fall behind. Leo was a little bit closer to Rebel this time, Will they be able to pass him now? Oh, Rebel actually got a bit of a lead over him. And because of that, he does get that 4th victory. And he is the next undefeated racer, finishing 3.07. Leo unfortunately had a bit of a slow start on that one, so he wasn't able to contend much with Rebel Racer. If he started well, he might have been able to make something happen. But for now, it is Rebel Racer who will be progressing to the next round. And in the 3rd round for today's video, we have Tito, Tabo, Iceman, and fan favorite Numskull. As the race begins, Numskull does have a bit of a lead. Here come the other racers though. But Numskull has a decent gap over the others. Let's see how much of one. Finishing 3.06, another close call for a record of speed. Yeah, a lot of people have been rooting for Numskull in the other tournament going on. So maybe right now he can use this opportunity to boost his confidence. But he does have to deal with Tito, Tabo, and Iceman. And so far he's doing really well. Once he gets to the bottom of that hill, he's able to get a small burst of speed to lunge himself forward and get a bigger lead than when they first start going down the hill. And he finishes in first again, this time with a 3.08. Yeah, many of these drag races we've had up to this point have had very close calls. A lot of photo finishes, people finishing side by side or almost at the exact same time. But in today's video, it seems like the ones who win make it a little more obvious who is the winner. And Numskull is no different. They just need one more victory, and it looks like they're going to get it as they pull away after going down that slope, and they get it. Meanwhile, Tito seems a bit exhausted as he winds up on his back by the time he crosses the finish line and gets to the end. Yeah, these are definitely a fast group of racers, but among them, Numskull is the fastest. And that's all that you need in a race like this. Because even if you are fast, if someone is faster than you, it doesn't count for much. But here they come one more time. Numskull had Tito on his back for just a moment, but that moment quickly disappeared as Numskull is our next undefeated racer, finishing again at 3.08. Wonderful performance by all, to be sure, but only one moves on from each group instead of the traditional two. And now for our 4th and I believe final round for today, which has Alex Cook, Rank Hank, Laro, and James Ironbeard. I remember James Ironbeard being a strong racer, and it looks like he's going to be here, but it seems as though he wasn't able to hold on to the lead this time around. But these races just got a little bit closer. In fact, look at that, just off by about 1/100th of a second. James Ironbeard is not going to make it easy. Look at that, 3:11 versus 3:12. This could go either way between James Ironbeard and Laro, which means we may have, if James Ironbeard finishes in front of Laro even once, he will be the first one to stop someone from being undefeated. And it looks like he might pull that off. He does have a nose over Laro, but Laro somehow was able to maintain his speed a little bit better. And I believe he got the win, and he did, by a slightly bigger margin this time. I'm sure James Ironbeard is a little bit frustrated right now, but he can't be too frustrated, otherwise he might make a crucial mistake. But now Laro is the one with one victory left before automatically advancing. Let's see what happens here. Laro currently has a lead, James Ironbeard is trying to catch him. Will he be able to? No! Laro is automatically advancing, and now he's only one race away from being yet another undefeated racer. When it happens so often, you're going to hear me say that quite a bit. But these are a lot closer. James Ironbeard, though, still has one more opportunity to stop Laro from being undefeated. But based on these last two races, it could be tricky. It could all depend on how they start. And Laro starts with a lead over James. James is actually a little bit closer this time, but I don't think he got it. I think Laro will still be a racer without a loss. So 4 more groups, 4 more undefeated racers, and some very close calls for the fastest time so far, but it is still held by Dusty Miles and Flip. But Laro is the winner among this group, and now you have your next 4 in the roster advancing to the next part of the tournament. Thank you all so much for watching. See you next time.